Welcome to the T. Warner, The Dream and Grind podcast. It's a show where I talk about my life journey to become the next great singer-songwriter, film, and TV producer. I hope you enjoy. I was born in Mobile, Alabama in 1961, the summer, June. My parents was Thomas and Josephine Warner. I can remember back in, let's say, 1969, when I knew I had the bug for music. It had to be at a Michael Jackson 5 concert. My dad's sister, my auntie, Josephine, took me to. You know, I knew back then I liked the music because my father used to carry me to the radio station in Mobile all the time. Different stations. He used to just take me there. He knew all the DJs that worked there. And I got a chance to really go there and, and see what it was like. I was young, but I was still got a liking for music. You know, how they make music on the radio. So, I guess I was about 8 years old during those times. And I guess about when I was about 13, when I really started to kind of, like instruments. So my brother, Tim, I have 5 brothers and sisters. My older brother, Tim, had a guitar sitting around the house. I can't recall where he got the guitar from, but I thought it was cool that it was sitting in this room. So I went to go poke at it and play at it, and every day I get from school, I come from school, I would go straight to that guitar, man. And so my mother and father just, Christmas came around, I always went on a motorcycle or a mini bike. I didn't really want no guitar then. I only wanted a guitar when I saw one. So, when Christmas came around, I wanted a mini bike. But that was out the question. My mom said, nah, you can't have no mini bike. So my brothers told me, he said, hey, man, why not get a guitar? Because I'm tired of you playing mines or picking on mines. I said, oh, that might be cool. I told my dad, yeah, let me get a guitar for this Christmas. So I got a guitar. I don't know what year it was. It had to be about 74, 75. I was getting ready to go to high school. Okay, so I got a guitar, and my friends around the neighborhood, they took a liking for music after I, just got a guitar for Christmas. So one friend of mine got a drum set, another friend of mine got a bass, and man, we put our little garage band together. So we started just plicking around with, just the instruments and not really knowing what we're doing. And, people used to always say, you guys sound like something. And my brother used to always say, they sound like something, but it ain't music. He said, man, y'all got to pick a song. Y'all got to play somebody else's song, music. I said, okay, well, how you do that? So my brother gave me a tape player, and he said, listen to the tape player of these old cassettes and listen to the radio, and you guys can imitate playing some of these songs. So, man, I thought that was a great idea to play along with the hits of today, hit music of that day. So I would get cassettes and play them on a cassette player and listen to the artists. My favorite artists back then, like I said, was Michael Jackson, Jackson 5, and, groups like that, Temptations, Marvin Gaye. I like the bands too. I like the Commodores. Commodore was a big thing to me. Yeah, and so I just started playing with around with the songs I used to hear on the radio and on a cassette player. So my brothers told me, you guys need to pick one or two songs and really concentrate on those two songs and learn how to play it. So I did. I can't remember what song it was. It may have been the Ohio Players' Roller Coaster. The roller coaster. Dun, 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 roller coaster. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So I learned how to play a roller coaster, and man, I was excited when I learned the little rhythm to that. And I went across the street to my friend T house, and Alvin was on the corner. He played the drums, and I said, man, I got a song for us to learn. And they said, what is it? I said, it's Roller Coaster. Ohio Players. Man, we got in the garage and just started picking away. And believe it or not, we picked that song up quick. We really did. T came out with the bass. He was right on it. And Alvin was hitting those drums. Man, it was loud, but he was hitting them. He used to practice all the time. You used to hear him in this house in the front room, them drums all over the neighborhood. So I knew Alvin was going to get his part. So we learned the songs, and man, we would start gigging in the garage and just making good music, and that's how it all started, me getting the bug to learn, or getting the discipline to learn how to play songs and play the guitar that I had got. So things moved from there. High school came in, and me and my family, we moved across town. Not really across town, but across the community to a different part of the community. And so I kind of left my friends on the other side of the community. So we didn't practice as much, But after I got in high school, I met a couple other guys, and, we started, learning more songs and trying to put a band together. And we did. So I wound up getting with some more guys and putting a band together in high school. I guess this had to be, I was in the 10th grade. Yeah. And we started, I got in the band called, it might have been Spirit. I think that's what it was called back then. But anyway, we had gigs around town. The bass player, a dude named Chris, him and his pop had got a sound system for us. And man, it's a big old sound system. We had speakers, mixing boards, and all this stuff. So, and my friend T, who was playing bass when I was younger, and I kind of wanted him to be a part of the band too, but I know my new friend Chris was playing bass, so Chris said, asked T, did he want to be in the band? I said, but Chris, what T's gonna play? He said that, he can mix the music for us. So T came by there one day and saw that big mixer board. He said, yeah, I'll do that, man. I'll be glad to mix the sound for you guys. So he was there too. Alvin was playing drums, so we was all good. So we had a little band in high school and started getting gigs and started playing in clubs. And so as we started playing in clubs and gigs, I was noticing that we was playing other people's songs and people was liking the songs, but when we stopped playing, the DJ started playing everybody else's song. So I was hearing about a lot of new songs came out, that these guys was writing songs. I'm like, writing songs? They said, yeah, man, you write songs, man. You get to play on the radio. I was like, oh, okay, I know about radio, man, because I used to go to the radio station when I was little, but I just never thought about recording my own song or writing my own song. So I did. So I started writing my own little song, having a guitar player. And by that time, I kind of picked up the keyboard a little bit. Just started playing around with the keys and stuff. My grandmother, Daisy, she was a piano player, and she used to play in the church when I was real, real little. And so I used to go by her house. She was living in Roger William Projects. I used to go by her house, and she had this piano sitting over there. And, man, she started showing me how to play the piano. So I would just start playing piano with her, and she was teaching me notes. And I kind of picked it up fast like I did with the guitar. So, yeah, so I started writing songs and around the house, and then my father used to own a service station and a gas station, and I got a job with him, and I had to get a job because I couldn't afford, couldn't just get a big instrument every Christmas. It wasn't like that. So I got a job at the service station, so I started saving my money, and I started buying equipment for where I can record. I bought like a 4-track machine and, stuff I can listen to myself and record my own songs with. And so I started buying this equipment. I started bringing it home and setting up a little recording studio in my bedroom at my parents' house. That was my first recording studio, was in my parents' house when I was about 17 years old, and I started writing my own songs and playing them, letting people hear them, and man, I can't recall the very first song I wrote, but it had to be okay because a lot of people was encouraging me to keep going, keep trying. So, after high school, I formed another band with some guys, and I kind of picked up on the song. We wrote a song, and the song, I caught the ears of a guy named Ike Darby. Ike Darby had a Big Ike from Pike. He used to be a radio guy at a radio station in Mobile. He was from Mississippi, and he had a record store downtown Mobile, and I used to go by the record store, buy little records, and then he had another lady was there too. Her name was Lynn White, and Lynn was a singer. Matter of fact, Lynn was singing. She was a singer on the label that Big Ike had started in Mobile. So, I had started finding about, I kind of knew about labels because I used to see their name at the bottom of the record, of a 45 record. These always have their name printed on the bottom. And I used to always ask my dad and other DJs what that meant, and they told me, hey, that's the business part of the music business, the record owners. So Ike had his own label, and I told him I had some songs that I had been writing for a long time, and he actually told me, he said, I knew you, you Warner, you Mr. Warner son. I said, yeah. He said, what's your name? Tony. And I told him Tony, and it kind of started from there. He kind of wanted to hear some of the songs I did, so I wrote some songs and let him hear it. He liked them. So there's one particular song I wrote. Me and some guys, Alvin and another guy named Carl, we wrote a song called Starfire Ladies. So we formed a group called The Young Generation. Oh, man, Ike heard the song, and he took us to a recording studio, and we went to the studio, we recorded the song, and he put it on his label, and he told me then, he said, hey, we're going to form the label together. I'm going to help you start off with a record label. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I don't know. I know how to play guitar and keyboard, but no, you got to learn the business part of it too. So like I said, I was about 18 at that time. That was about 1979. I had just finished high school, and I said, okay. So we, put the label together. He said, okay, you from Alabama and I'm from Mississippi. We're going to call the label Alamis Records. I say, all right, cool. So I wound up, paying for everything. I didn't have any money for that, but he wound up paying for it. He was a producer, and he got the records pressed up, and man, we got those records pressed up. I got them in a big box, and I couldn't wait to call Alvin and call, and everybody in town that, man, I got some records. I got a record of 45, Starfire Lady. So when after it came by, I said, hey, I told my friend, so they said, what we do now? I said, we take it to the radio station. Because I knew that because, like I said, when I was real little, I used to go to the radio station with my dad, and them guys used to bring records in there and ask them to play their records. So, guys used to come from out of town. They used to drive up and they asked them to play their records. So I said, I do the same thing. So I went over to a few radio stations and down in Mobile and asked them to play my record. And, man, I was in an event one day. I guess it was about a week or two later where I was at a park, just kind of, didn't know things were going to happen. So I just went on my life, shooting basketball, hanging out with some guys. And somebody had a boom box or something. And all of a sudden, I heard the guitar part at the beginning of the song come out of that boom box. I knew right then. I had the basketball in my hand. I dropped that basketball. I said, hey, man, that's my song on the radio. And everybody on that court stopped. And they looked. And it was like a small rally going on the side. And I knew one of the DJs that was at this little rally. And I guess he was playing the radio. He was playing, the radio station at the same time. And so he pumped it up. And, man, And he knew me. And he knew I had been playing in the band in high school. He said, that's Tony Warner right there. That's the guy, the song you hear on the radio. Stop by later. Man, don't y'all know them girls rush me like I was Michael Jackson. I ain't lying. I'm telling you, it was a whole lot of them. So that experience right there, it just made it even worse. It made everything that seemed like, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to do this the rest of my life because I like the attention and I like making music, actually. I just loved making music. So after that, I said, the record was playing and we did a couple shows around town. We didn't get on a big tour or anything like that because I didn't know what to do from that. And Ike, had sold his record shop. And him and Lynn had went on the road out there. Yeah, he carried me one time, man. I went to, Lynn went to sign with a bigger label out of Memphis, Tennessee. And Ike asked me that he was taking her up there to sign a contract. And he was going to do a deal with this company. And he asked me did I wanted to go. I said, sure, So I said, I got to ask my mom and my pops, man. So I did. I asked my mom and my pop. And they said it was okay. And Ike picked me up. We went to Memphis, Tennessee. We got there on Beale Street, and man, Ike said, we going to see a guy named Willie Mitchell. I said, okay, cool. Whoever that is. So Lynn said, yeah, I'm the same with Willie. He's a real, real good producer, So I asked Ike, I said, Ike, who Willie Mitchell? You going to produce the record? He said, no, Willie Mitchell going to produce. I said, he produced somebody before? Then Lynn and Ike, both of them started laughing. Then Ike said, no. He ain't produced nobody but Al Green. I'm like, oh man, no. You talking about let's stay together, Al Green? He said, yeah. So we got there. We got down on Raw Street, I think what it was. Raw Studio. That's what it was. And it was Willie Mitchell, the bright skinned guy, met us at the door. Man, he asked us to come over in, and he was happy to see Lynn. And we went into the studio, and he congratulated her about joining his label, and he knew Ike, man. Him and Ike was like they was like kicking and shaking hands, all this stuff. So Willie Mitchell asked Ike, he said, well, who is this young fella right here? Ike said, this is a future songwriter, Tony Warren. He's a friend of mine. I'm a friend of his pops back in Mobile, and I just wanted him to have this experience of going on the road and meeting a big producer. And Willie Mitchell smiled at me and said, well, I don't know about a big producer, but welcome, Tony. I was just so happy to be there, man, because I was looking at the mixing bowl in the studio, man. So I asked Willie, I said, Mr. Mitchell, this is the place where Al Green recorded Let's Stay Together? And he said, yeah, right here. I was like, wow, man. They had drums over in the corner, man. Had a piano set up, and we was in the control room, and he put on Lynn record that they listened to. But I was just blown away the whole time, and we went back to the hotel room, and I was just blown. I was so happy for Lynn. And then Willie Mitchell wound up calling us at the hotel room. We went to his house. We went out to his house and we ate dinner. His wife was there. His son was there. Boo Mitchell. They all was there. And man, I tell you, man, that was the only time I ever had been to Memphis, and that was the only time I ever had any contact with them. And Willie has passed on now, but I will never, ever, ever forget that experience. And I used to always think before he passed on, I always thought would think of giving me an opportunity to be, to see stuff like that, man, because I didn't think I would ever see nothing like that, man, but I did, and it was a great thing. So anyway, I got back to Mobile, and, I had to wind up getting more jobs and stuff, and we still played music. So I wound up, we didn't do an album or anything after that. That group had broke up. The Young Generation had broke up, and Ike had sold his record shop, and so I never did really see them too much anymore. And Lynn was doing stuff up with Will and them in Memphis, so I was back in Mobile, man. So I continued to just write songs and write, listen to the radio station. So I wound up getting a job at a radio station, a country station that was owned by a company called Clear Channel in Mobile, and they had a radio station, so the guy gave me a job as a broadcast technician overnight. So I did that for a little while, and I found out that Clear Channel had a TV station also in Mobile, and I went over there to get a job, see if I can get a job, and the guy wound up hiring me as a master control operator. I just would look at the TV program, make sure they add right, and we loaded the tape machines, and the tapes had the shows on the tape. So that was a fun thing, but that wound up being a big career for me because having those skills enabled me to get better positions in the TV business. So just to fast forward and move it to a little bit how I got to Los Angeles, California, back after we did Starfire later and we did the records, I had kind of got into like the management part of trying to find a group and, to help them out and maybe, some singles. Because back then the group thing was happening in the NSYNC and the Boys to Men and New Edition. So I put together a group called Unique. It was a 5-guy group. Well, the actual they was already together. And a friend of mine named James that was in the group, James Harper James, he introduced me to the guys, and I went by and I listened to them, and I liked what I heard. I said, hey, man, I can help you guys get a record deal, And, you would think, well, this guy here can't do like that. But they had already been kind of hearing, and James had been hyping the fact that, Tony did some things before he'd been on the radio. And the main thing in Mobile is if you've been on the radio, then you're doing all right. So, so they trusted me to kind of, guide them in the right direction. So I wound up came to the studio recording some songs. So I was going down to WGOK radio station in Mobile, and it was a DJ there called Mad in the Morning Time. Mad in the Morning Time. He was a great DJ. He was so inspiring to me, and I used to go down to the station with Mad in the morning, and he used to let me sit in with all this session. When guys come in to promote their record from all these record companies, they would come down there and try to get Mad to play records for them. And they would come from out of town because we in Mobile down south, so they drove pretty far to come down there and see him. But Mad wound up having mad respect, man, from all over the industry. People from New York, L.A., Atlanta, Chicago, they used to always call there and come down there. So he kind of taught me how he do his thing, how a program director do his job and a music director select music, because Mad was both of them at this station, at WGOK. So anyway, I used to listen to him, and I learned from him a whole lot from him. And after my group Unique recorded a song, he wound up sending it out. And so I got responses back from him because people respected me because I was going through him. He didn't want to did it. So I wound up, doing a lot of things. We signed with a a little label out of Houston. I did some thing with a partner of mine with them, and I signed a label deal with them where I had my label, they had theirs. So that was all good for a little while. So I wound up going to California and signing the group, the Bellmark record, Al Bell label. And Al Bell had a label called Bellmark. You know Al Bell from the old Stax day. He used to run Stax Records. So Mad Hatter and Miss Irene Ware, who was also a DJ, and she was a big gospel person in radio. I mean, Irene was it. You know, her and her husband, Fred Ware, he was a promotion guy at Sony, you know, but they were a very, very business musical family. And Irene her and Mad wound up introducing me to Al Bell, and Al Bell signed my group, Unique Man, to a recording contract, man, through one of his labels. So that worked out pretty good for a little while. We wound up doing a video, and it wound up getting on BT, and it was all good. You know, after that, you know, I came back to Mobile, and the group wound up doing a few things, you know, a few big things back then, you know, not too much. So they kind of disbanded a little bit, So when the group disbanded, Mad, he asked me what I was going to do now. I said, I don't know, man. I'm just going to keep working at the TV station. He said, man, if you ever want to go to California, let me know. I can send you to California, man. Hook you up. I said, man, I'll let you know right now I want to go to L.A. I said, yeah. So Mad wound up turning me on to some guys in L.A., man, that can help one of the guys out that was singing a Unique. He sang gospel music, so, you know, he wound up turning me on to a few guys in gospel music. So I grabbed one of the guys out of Unique. I said, hey, man, your dude named Herb. I said, Herb, I'm going to L.A. You want to go? He said, yeah. So we went. Herb mama was like, oh, Herb is real young, but you know what, Tony, I trust you. And he can go. So I at the time, I had just got married during that time, and I married my wife, and man, you know, hey, you know, when you get married, you know, you like, okay, you dream over it, you know, but I had one more shot. I said, you know what, I can't turn down a Mad shot. Let me go with that. So I went out there, you know, it was all good. It was all cool. I had a daughter, too. My daughter was like 7 years old, 6 years old, and I wound up going to California, man, just giving it a shot, man. I know my wife was okay, man. Her family's in Mobile, my family in Mobile, so it was all good. It was all good. So I went out to L.A., man. We went to try to make it, Herb and I, and Herb wound up getting a little smaller recording contract, not nothing much, you know. So when I went out there, you know, the music business didn't jump off real fast, so I called on my old skills of TV broadcasting, and I wound up getting a job with Clear Channel again in Los Angeles at a TV station, so I had started making money, you know. So by that time, Herb had went to Las Vegas, and my wife and my daughter came on out, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to still do my music thing on the side, but I got to do some TV and film stuff as well. So I wound up, you know, getting into the TV and film part of the business. It was all entertainment. It was all good, you know, and so I did that. You know, I kind of kept my little recording studio thing going while I was in L.A., you know, but I had to work to make a living for my family now because like I said, I had got them out there. So I just kind of started, you know, doing TV production, buying equipment and buying this and that and that and this. So things kind of moved on a little bit, but I always used to write songs. I kept writing songs. I said, you know what, I'm going to keep on writing songs because who knows, I'm out here in L.A., and L.A. is not really big in music. It's big in TV and film, you know, but you know, it's still headquarters as far as entertainment. So I was kind of still in the right place. If something was ever happening with my music or screenwriting or TV production, I went back to school and learned screenwriting. You know, I formed like a little T1 Films. I still had my little record label going, my little Click Track Records. So I just kept at it, kept grinding. So that's what I'm still doing. I'm still grinding, trying to make it out and making records and stuff, and you know, and hopefully one of these days, one of those records just jump off and just really hit the charts. And but that's all still part of the dream, y'all. You know, it's just that, you know, you never give up on yourself, and because you never know that it may happen, and it seems like people that really know you know that you're not going to quit, but they know that, wow, he's still trying to do that, But your real, true friends, the people that really, really believe in you, they know you're not going to quit. So, and I know I'm not going to quit, because why should I quit when I'm still alive? When God give you talent, you're supposed to use your talent. Now, where your talent take you is up to you, because you can use it and not show it, then it ain't doing you no good. So I feel like I'm going to keep on trying to write songs that I love writing, and don't change for no one else, and don't give up on myself. Then one of these days, one of those songs will come out and be something. So the next episode I'm going to talk to you guys about will be about some of the songs I did long time ago, and I kind of revamped them to the style of today. Because music changes, it always changes. It never stays the same. And, a lot of the technology came in, and it kind of changed the way we did the business part. And it also changed how we recorded music, So on the next episode, we'll get into more of the technical sides of the music business, and the business side of it, and how you promote records these days. And, then we'll get into segments about songs I've written, and the lyric choices, the melody choices, and the gear that I use to record these songs. So stay tuned, you guys, and I'm glad you guys check out this podcast. And I look forward to having many, many more. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.